Top right spawning of Alcyone, sporting the red collar, playing for Team Basilisk. It is the man, the myth, the legend, Reynor.
And his opponent, playing for Mystery Gaming. It is the Chinese Protoss player, Cyan.
Beautiful purple sweater over here. And he unexpected probe scout here. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming at all.
Aside from me, yes. And everybody in the chat. But not you, that's for sure. Not you.
I'm shocked. In utter disbelief at this moment. As he's going for... I mean, out of all maps to scout on, Alcyone has to be the single worst one as well.
Because the Zerg can take a gold base. I'm not entirely sure that is true. Ratu said would be the worst because you can't block, even a 16 edge.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So the second single worst one.
What about Equilibrium? I guess in Equilibrium you can block the gold base, so that's better.
True.
Yeah. I would go with second worst one. It's still not that bad though. Like the gold base on this map is not as good as it is on other maps. It's also 15 hatch, by the way, for some reason. So it's a very late gas for Reynor, which surprises me because did Cyan go into the main and saw both geysers? He did, right? Yeah, he did. So if Cyan sees this, you can just rally stalkers across the map or adapt. Doesn't really matter. But you can just keep rallying them across the map, and it's going to be very difficult to hold the gold base.
Yeah.
I think he could reactively have made a second gateway at the watchtower and just rallied stalkers there. I'm not quite sure how Reynor would have defended it. He would have needed to make spine crawlers, and it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. The moment you start building spine crawlers before the 3-minute mark, it either means you're winning really hard or you're losing really hard.
Yeah.
Most of the time losing. So we have a probe. It is hiding. Look at this. I think it's going to be a proxy gate, no? Twilight Council, cheeky little 6-gate glaives, 5-gate glaives, 4-gate glaives, just glaives. This feels glavy to me, Lambo.
It's glavy to me. What if he puts a robo there? It says immortal underneath from the bottom right.
Freak event.
that would have been crazy. It's no not happening though, because the Twilight is already on the way. He's running out the first adept. You think just a proxy pylon for Warpens, or you're thinking a Dark Shrine?
I'm thinking a gateway. And if he adds a Dark Shrine on top of it, he... Oh, did you see that adept move? Freaking ring around the rosy over there. Poof, straight back. He knows exactly what he wants in life. And that's not having an adept across the map. How did this queen get so damaged, by the way? What did I miss?
The Lynx attacked the queen. I didn't see it happen, but it must have been. There's no other explanation for it, because why would the drones attack something?
That's the third freak event here in this game. This game is unbelievable, Lambo. Historians are going to study this particular game. It's one of the most unlikely events in history.
Now, for all the choices that I love from Cyan so far, DT against Gases is not one of them. Yeah, because it doesn't punish the late speed. It also doesn't really punish a gold base whatsoever. It just hopes for the fact that your opponent messes up his sport crawler timing. Now, we know that Cyril likes to play with his knee protectors on. And Reynor is not really that kind of a player, but I feel like against Cyan, if he gets away with a gold base, you see no Oracle, you see nothing happening, a Spore, at least at the gold base, would be an obvious choice here, I would think.
He's got to follow it up with glaives as well. This is the opposite of what you usually see.
Yeah.
You know what still could happen, though, is that the Lynx and Queens are on the wrong side. So DTs run in, they snipe the Spore. Reynor actually scouting for a proxy gate, but forgets to scout everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be what?
2 adepts get caught. That is bad. It's going to be 3 DTs, right?
4, huh?
How is it 4 DTs? With the he just warped in 1 adept. He also doesn't have gas. You need over 400 gas to warp in 4 DTs.
That's true.
So it would be white if he somehow... That would be the next freak event, if he was somehow warped in 4 DTs with 300 gas.
That would be a phenomenal player out of sight. I think we'd have to inform the referee at that point.
Yeah, I think that's a bit too much. As he does warp in the 3 adepts at the pylon, he actually lets the shade finish. Reynor is going to try to cancel the base. He's now getting distracted by the adepts. The T-warp, you need to go after the sport crawler. He realizes now there's 1 transfuse here. The drones start fighting. This sport crawler will go down. The second sport crawler is very far away. It's not. It's in the main base, the second Sport Crawler. So this hatchery is almost certainly forfeit. It's only 2 DTs though. One has to go after extra Sport Crawlers, no?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe he can just right-click it and be fine.
Maybe this is even better, actually. Yeah. This is enough damage output for Cyan to cancel the space. At the same time, he's trying to defend with DTs on his side of the map. His Nexus most certainly will need to get cancelled, but at the very least, he's back to 2 base against 2 base, which usually favors Protoss.
Yeah, he's also going to be up to 2 workers. DTs managed to escape as well. Where did that extra spore go? Did it go back into the natural? Yeah, there's a new spore in the main as well. It wouldn't surprise me if Cyan tries to run by in towards the main base. There's nothing here at all to defend, by the way, just a queen. This could be minus 6, 7 drones. Could also be minus 2 DTs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's minus 2 drones, minus 1 DT. The 3 DTs need to watch out that they don't get surrounded randomly by Zerglings. Obviously, the lair is not done yet, but it's done pretty soon. So he needs to watch out that he doesn't get caught in between Reynor's bases, because for now this is a safe space, but in 30 seconds from now an oversee will be done. And it won't be so safe anymore here for Cyan, who has not started a blink transition or anything like that so far, and he has warped in 4 extra adepts at the proxy gate, which is a cool move if it works out. I guess he will wait to see if Reynor moves out and then tries to counterattack with the adepts. But I think for now, I would really like to see him just warp and stalkers. Okay, these adepts are just completely forfeit. That was a bad shade. No way around that. And he's warping in 5 more adepts, which puzzles me because he had the economic lead. He sees his opponent has roaches. Why does he warp in adepts instead of stalkers?
These are all fair questions that I don't entirely have the answer for. He's also going to try to give up a couple of his DTs. Succeed as he loses 1. 3 will stay alive for now, though. As the roach speed is getting closer and closer to finishing. Overseer still chasing. Some debatable movement here out of the units from Cyan. We'll need to recall these DTs, no?
Well, he's trying to distract the roaches right now for the next adept wave, which I'm fairly certain Reynor did not see coming. As Reynor has even out the economy once more and is a little bit ahead because he made a gold base, the adepts just try to come towards Reynor's economy line. He kills 8 workers already. Good focus fire here on the adepts, shades out. A bunch of these adepts should escape. He kills 14 workers. He just needs to make sure he doesn't die at home. I am so surprised to not see blink research. I am just so surprised. Why is he making extra icons? I guess he wants to play Charged Immortal, but I really think he just needs to survive. And the best thing to survive against Red Traveler is Stalkers.
Yeah, and Immortals. I like Immortals.
Yeah, no, Immortals definitely, but the Icons instead of the Stalkers are highly questionable. I also think he needs a War Prism to give the Immortals, yeah, their blink. Reynor is Queen Walking. Reynor is fully all-inning, but he has a big army supply advantage right now. Cyan just threw away a lot of units, and he still has a bunch of adepts on the other side of the map, which means at home he only has a couple of units. Now those are very big units, but he's fighting away from the shield battery. The first Archon goes down immediately, the second Archon falls. Shield battery overcharge now popped, even though Reynor didn't even mean to commit yet. The queens are not even here yet. And now he's warping in another Archon. I don't think Archons are the choice here. Reynor engages as the shield battery overcharge expires. Cyan tries to kite back with his Immortals, also tries to kite back with the Immortal at his natural, but I think it's a basic numbers game, as Reynor also dealt with the adepts on his side of the map while only losing 4 workers. And yeah, Cyan is struggling to stay alive here.
Yeah, I think he's dead. He just doesn't have the units here. He continued taking gases. He's now warping in some Stalkers. These Stalkers don't have blink quite yet. There also was no charge here, by the way. We have a lot of cash in the bank. 7 gateways have finished, but there's nothing remaining. This is a very odd game indeed. Reynor's gonna take it, but that wasn't very convincing at all whatsoever, Lambo.
It wasn't convincing. Cyan was in a good position. He just... I don't understand why he warped in extra adepts. And then they kind of dealt damage and it was okay, but then he warped in Archons to defend the Roach all-in, which it always should have been Stalkers. Even without blink.
Yeah.
It's... like, even if his plan initially was to go Charge Shot, Archon Immortal, the moment you see, okay, I kill a lot of workers, my opponent is gonna all-in me, you don't go 6 gas and you warp in Icons. It's just not their response.
Yeah, I'm baffled by that as well. I don't quite understand. He saw that it was roaches as well. It's not like he thought it was a mass Ling composition. He saw the upgrade on the roach. He saw there was many of them. And Archons are just not very good at defending this type of stuff. Stalkers, much, much superior. Even sentries there would have been great to have. Could have used maybe 1 or 2 DTs for some counter-attack damage, maybe 1 at home in case you snipe an observer. Yeah, I think a lot of things defensively could have been done better. Perhaps Cyan didn't believe that it was going to be an attack. Perhaps Cyan really thought that he was setting up for this massive, long macro game in which Reynor was still going to, at some point, transition into Ravager-Ling Bane, but even that scenario sounds unrealistic, because if Reynor's ever going to play a macro game, it's definitely going to be with a range-based composition, right? There's no way you're surviving with Banelings here. You're going to need to go into lurkers. And that is also practically unplayable, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think the moment... I mean, it's just the obvious choice from Reynor to go for the all-in because he loses workers, but Cyan gave up his army to do so. So what does Reynor... What is Reynor left with? A war's economy, but an army supply lead. So he tries to salvage the situation with an attack, with using the one advantage that he has. So it was a very natural response from Reynor after the things that unfolded. But yeah, Cyan just not reading into it properly. It's once again, with these Chinese Protoss players, they have really good ideas. They have good builds. It always starts nicely, and then there's one thing that is a little bit weird. Sometimes on the mechanical side, sometimes it's army movement. And in this case, it was a weird decision and a couple too many adepts that were sacked for free. That cost them in the end, but the initial idea actually works very well for them, quite frequently here.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Cyan has impressed me with his creativity in these games so far. Let's see if he has something else to show us, as this was a 13 pylon scout going to block his opponent's natural once more. Reynor already starting his 17th drone, and is going to have to expand towards the 3rd base location.
Now, it has to be mentioned that Cyan already would have been up 1-0 if Reynor listened and actually 12-foot to your advice. And now if he 12-foot again, because what is the chance that Cyan goes for a scout again? It's 5%, times 5%.
No, but the second game is a classic Cyan scouting moment, so this wouldn't have surprised me.
Oh, because he did it in the past. I thought the obvious one would be if he scouts in first, he doesn't in the second.
No. He sticks to what he knows. He actually wanted to no scout in the first game. He messed it up.
He accidentally scouted.
Yeah, his habits are too strong. Such good, strong habits. He always wants to scout. As he's gonna do his standard scouting pattern. You mentioned it yesterday, I think it was, where he'll block his opponent's natural, go back home, build the Nexus Cybercore, and then scout again with the same probe to maybe try and block a 3rd base, make sure there's no type of Ling run by happening very early on. There's not some type of weird all-in. Just a little bit of added safety here. And just following this probe's journey back all across Heartland.
Yep. Tries to force out links. If you just go back home, you obviously save the minerals as well, and then you stay at home. But you force 0 Zerglings, so you get more drones out early for the Zerg, and that is definitely not worth it. It's definitely better to stay across the map than with the probe to force out at least 1 pair of links. That's an entire drone that you basically killed for a little bit in the early game. So it's nice for him to go back here, force out 1 pair of links, which is exactly what we see, and Cyan going for a very standard Stargate opener this time around.
Yeah, very standard. Wonder what his follow-up is going to be. For now, just scouting. That's not really a follow-up. He's just gathering intel. He's gathering loads of it, my friend. Look at that. He's going to see the 3rd base go down as well. I'll send this probe back home. First adept is making its way across the map. It's going to hit the far left side. Is he going to let that shade finish? That's a wild shade. Right onto the creep. Poof! Hello, here I am. And Reynor was very ready for that. So that's quite a bit of a hull damage, or the shield damage being given to that adept. Second adept is going to show up as well. And perhaps they're going to shade in together once more, whether that's going to be the main or towards the 3rd base. I don't know. Either way, Reynor is well prepared, with a total of 10 links across the 2 bases.
Yeah, I mean, if you force 10 links, that's already good for the adept. Oh my god, he's engaging here. That is crazy. I think if Reynor took the top path instead of going towards the bottom of the... towards his minerals, basically, I think he could have caught one of the adepts. So Cyan playing with fire there, because Reynor is playing it extremely safe. So even though he didn't kill anything, forcing out 10 links, I think it results in an even early game, basically. It's no advantage given to either player. Cyan going Oracle into Void Ray, which you like, right?
Yeah. I think it's a powerful setup. It's sometimes dangerous, though, if you can't get your Nexus up in time. But if you can get your Nexus up in time, it's one of the builds that I definitely do like. Oracle dealt 1 worker damage. He's now going to try to snipe a drone that is in one of them cocoons. It's not quite going to work, so just wasted a bunch of energy. Adept's in a good spot. Reynor not quite splitting these links. Is going to take slightly more losses than maybe he should have had he done that, but doesn't actually want to take out that second Adept. Pretty decent trade there for our Zerg players. The Overlord sees everything. Where the heck did this Void Ray go? Just straight across the map. He's going to take out an Overlord, maybe even 2.
Maybe in 2, he misses this one. Okay, no, he pays attention. He will snipe this one. Overlord is like extremely fast to Void Rays. And he's scouted for the other Void Rays with the Oracle. So, the other Oracles, sorry. The other Overlords he scouted for with his own Oracle. There we go. There is one more very exposed Overlord. It's the one he's searching for right now. He should be able to get that even with the charge of the Void Ray being on cooldown.
So that is 3 Overlords here that have gone down, as the Stalker also cleared the Overlord in the main base. I really like that overall sequence. This is triple Stargate unit. It's gonna go into Forge plus Twilight. Oh, needs to be so careful. Can't afford to lose that Void Ray. That's an expensive unit, my dear friend. As the Natural is pretty exposed here. If the Oracle were to fly into the Natural, there's only a single Spore there. And no Queens. Could have definitely gotten 1 or 2 kills. At least forced a full-on drone pool. Adept showing up as well. Stasis Ward now going down. Not the hottest harassment that I've seen in my life. But yeah, it's gonna do something at least, which is decent. Blink attack as a follow-up going into 4 gate total. It's probably gonna add a couple more, right? This feels to me like he's not done yet with this. Yeah, 2 more being added. Could even go up to 8 gate. Let's go for all out.
I think he's gonna go Robo, but we'll see. For now, I think he mismacroed a little bit. These gateways seem a little late to me. Yeah, there's the Robo. He really likes Colossus, as I said last time when he played against Dark. He likes the general Colossus setup, and he doesn't even necessarily use it as an all-in, and then goes from the Colossus into extra Immortals and play a ground-focused style with it.
Yeah, we'll see if he's gonna be capable of doing that. When he played against Dark, that was on this map as well. It didn't go so well.
Yeah, that is true. But that game was very over after the Link surrounded a bunch of Stalkers, when all the Oracles were on the other side of the map, and Blink wasn't there. So that game was completely over after mid-game. I don't think we should read too much into that. Reynor, I'm afraid, is making a lot of roaches. Okay, just preemptively it appears, as he's making a couple of extra drones as well. Usually if you want to tech up into lurkers, which is what I assume Reynor wants to do here, you already would have started an infestation pit. So seeing roach production on 66 workers hints towards a very committed attack, where you go for a mass roach ravager, you run across the map and you try to kill your opponent.
Yeah. He's kind of sprinkling in drones here, left and right, and then some more roaches, and then some more drones. Seems a little bit unsure in his defense. Now we see that infestation pit going down. But these timings are all fairly late. No? Like the infestation pit going down as the Robo Bay is about to finish. That's not a great look here for Reynor.
Yeah, I think he's just playing it super safe. He knows he's the favorite. He's up 1-0 already, and he's just playing it very, very, very safe. Overly safe, almost, for how this early game went. Should be able to pick off that Stasis Ward. Even gets a Stalker. I mean, overall, Reynor is playing pretty well.
Yeah.
The only thing that we can criticize him for so far is the fact that he's just playing overly safe. But if you're the favorite, I mean, Cyril plays like that every single game, so should be okay. As he's starting the Hive now, still no 8 gas, still no Hydra then. I do still expect him to start the Hydra then, very soon.
Yeah, a Roach Viper is not really a composition we often see. As these Oracles are going to take out a lot of links. That was some good control out of Cyan. It's going to keep everything alive. Now needs to be careful that his Void Ray doesn't die. First Colossus on the way out. Double Forge as well behind all of this. Reynor's actually going to commit to this off creep. Oracle's partially out of energy. And did he just accidentally kill his opponent?
I think he saw there was a lack of units. Cyan didn't micro correctly. A lot of Stalkers fell already. He lost 11 Stalkers, which really isn't supposed to happen. The Colossus went the wrong way. The overcharge is now being used, now that all the Stalkers are dead. And I like that you said he killed them accidentally here, because that's exactly what happened. Reynor was teching up, he went up to 80 workers. I don't think he planned on this, I think he just overmade units defensively. And then he realized there are some weaknesses in Cyan's defenses, and he committed, and it worked. So now, even though he already has his transition, he already dealt damage, so he finds himself in a fantastic position in this game.
Yeah, Cyan still only on 6 gases, lost a lot of workers there. He's gonna get pretty decent upgrades, but needs to start teching into Templar Archive, Second Robo, Immortals. These are the units we want to see right now. He's dealing with Vipers and just any type of composition, and all you have is Colossus is going to be very difficult. The moment Lurkers are out here, it's going to be absolute hell for Cyan, who still has this Prism flying around, so has the counterattack ability. It's now maybe even going to get a cancel on the 5th base, which would be very nice. I would love that for Cyan.
Yeah, Reynor is very close, but just now moved away, so those zealots might actually get the cancel on it, as it's nice that he keeps being on the map and he keeps clearing creep. This is poor creep spread for Reynor standards. But it's just because Cyan was active the entire way through. So Cyan is playing a decent game. Just the fight in the middle was not it. Aside from that, he's playing quite well, as he finds himself at the beginning of a late game. He still needs to survive a little bit more, that we can actually call this a late game. The most important part is that these Colossus are far enough away so the Stalkers can zone out the Vipers from the attacks. And it's not the case. The Vipers get reviewed. He doesn't get the second Colossus, so only one of the Colossus goes down with double abduct. Both Vipers have fallen, and the Stasis Ward saves Cyan, and I think that should mean that he's survives till the later stages of the game, because without any Vipers, I don't think there's any way for Reynor to commit on top of Cyan's army here.
I don't think so either, as a big stasis here actually hits in the middle of the map. It's going to be quite a few units that Reynor now wants to try and save, as Colossus already starts fighting it. Blinks forward to try and kill this portion of the army. He's going to get a lot of units there. Zealot run by at the same time, also clearing some Roaches and Hydras over on the 3rd base. Zealots actually are temporarily winning that fight. Cyan now pushes in forward. There are 3 Lurkers in position. Oracle's moving in. These Lurkers are all by themselves. Is there something that Cyan can do here? Cyan believes... I don't know what he believes, but that was from weird blinks. He's not going to take anything out. And I think right now your momentum of that moment is pretty much passed. He's going to pick up his Zealots out of the main base, back into the Prism. Have all Vipers died? No, there's still a single Viper remaining. He's trying to gather a bit of energy. This 5th base might be in trouble, though. That could be a big thing, actually. I think this army is just too small. He needs some type of zone defense here. He needs storms or something else. Otherwise, he might just get jumped upon. That is exactly what's happening. These Colossus very exposed. Hydras, Roaches just chasing this army. And now the Lynx with the Adrenal Glands trying to take out some of them Stalkers. Good job there by Reynor, who pushes this away, stays alive, and now goes back home to try and deal with that funky little Prism with the Zealots in the main base.
Yeah, that engagement there was, just as you said, the army was way too small. Also, the Colossus kept shooting at single Roaches. And now Reynor finds himself in a position on the other side of the map, not even with his entire army, but gets the last remaining Colossus here. And Cyan needs to survive. Cyan has fantastic upgrades, but he needs to survive until he's maxed out to make use of those upgrades. His fighting army right now is 2 Stalkers and a Colossus, and that's, even though there's just 3 Lurkers, that's more than enough to kill 2 Stalkers. And now that he cleared up all the Zealots on his side of the map, he's reinforcing the push with all of the Roaches. Cyan tries to engage with 2 Archons still morphing. All the Oracles coming in here. There's no anti-air left, but it doesn't really matter because the Oracles are not high on energy. And Reynor burrows on top of Cyan's army, on top of Cyan's 4th base at this point as well, where Cyan feels the need to defend this, because Reynor himself is on 5 base. He already has +3, he already has the Lurker tech. So Cyan at least needs to stay even in economy, but this is not a fight he can win, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he's gonna need some type of counterattack if he wants to somehow survive. He needs to give up this base and kill 2 bases of his opponent, but that seems like a very unrealistic scenario at this moment. Colossus doing an okay job here in the absence of Vipers. They can just move back and forth. Battery is not active anymore, though. Energy has pretty much disappeared. As the flank of the Zealots, is it going to be enough? I don't think so. New Viper comes in forward. That means 1 more Abduct available. As 3 more Lurkers pop here as well. Reynor can continue reinforcing this position. And the sustain of this Lurker push is much, much bigger than what Cyan can honestly hold. Because Cyan is running out of time. Cyan is running out of units. Fantastic upgrades, as you mentioned, but no units to make use of them. And he's going to need to pull the probes away. But losing this base and being down 90 supply probably means that you're just going to keep getting pushed again and again and again. Reynor can just continue moving on forward, morph in a couple more Lurkers, and then eventually pick up this game.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he does. He moves forward, trying to create a concave with his army. Even though not all the Lurkers are shooting, it's honestly more than enough to fight with Cyan's army, Reynor can also remix, but I don't think he needs to, as in order to remix, he first needs to lose his army, which I find a very unlikely outcome of the fight. Cyan's still trying to make stuff happen with his Zealot counterattacks. I mean, he's making so many good moves. It's just, when it comes down to it, in the deciding moments, Reynor was the better player here in that series. And I think also goes home with a deserved W.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
At least a 5th place finish.
At least a 5th place finish as Cyan makes his final stand, but that isn't going to quite work either. 2 Colossus still swiping a lot of these links down. 21 probes meanwhile going down to the double roach attack in the natural. That assault is dealing more damage than you would have expected out of 2 roaches. Spire going up, 19 more hydras. Roaches now just rallying into the Colossus. Reynor not playing too careful anymore, but I don't think he really needs to play too careful. He is so ridiculously far ahead. The chances of Cyan winning here is, I'd say, even less than 5% at this point.
Even less than 5%, which is important to note because the 5% for you happens more frequently than you think. GG is called. Reynor takes the series 2-0 and thus finishes 5th, confirmed because Showtime took a map of Hero at the very least. Those two are still playing for advancement. It's a very similar situation to Gauntlet versus